Hello you guys and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. So it has been a minute since I have uploaded here, so I thought I would do a little bit of an update. I'll also put timestamps down below if you want to just skip right into the video content. But yes, it has been a while since I have filmed YouTube videos or edited them. So I actually ended up getting COVID, so I took about 2 to 3 weeks off of making content or honestly working in general. I spent a lot of time resting, recovering, and just making myself, feel better. So it's been so weird just not uploading, and I've missed you guys. I've missed it. There are so many content ideas that I have. I literally have a full notebook with a list of things that I want to make for you guys, or a list of ideas of content that I want to make coming back, because I feel like when you take a couple weeks off, you get really inspired and stuff like that because you're not making any content. So with that being said, if you guys have any special requests or any special videos, definitely make sure to comment that down below and I can add it to my list of things. So if there's something in the past 3 weeks that I have missed that you guys want me to review or, cover any specific topics, let me know. So with that being said, let's get into a little bit of a shorter MLM horror stories because I have work in 30 minutes, but I really wanted to get a video up for you guys on Friday and it just felt right for it to be an MLM horror stories. So with that being said, let's get into it. Ooh, and if you do want to send me your MLM horror stories, I will link down below my email for that, because I have a specific email where people could send me MLM horror stories. So if you want to send me your MLM horror story to read on my channel, I upload MLM horror stories now once a month versus every week. I used to do them every week and then I changed it to once a month. So if you want me to read your MLM horror stories, send it to my email. But let's read our first one. So it says, "Hi Deanna, I recently came across your YouTube channel, and since I have been anti-MLM for 10 years now, your videos cannot be more relatable. Sorry for my spelling mistakes. English is not my first language. I would like to share 2 MLM stories with you. When I was 20, I worked at a company with a contract that was temporarily limited. That meant I worked there for only so long until the woman I replaced came back from maternity leave. Since my termination date came closer, I got nervous because I had no alternative job in sight. Luckily, my coworker saw that as a potential to recruit me into her MLM. The MLM she worked for was Amway. I never heard of MLMs or pyramid schemes or anything similar before, so my ears to the opportunity were open. She pitched the company, the products, and the quote business unquote while we were working in the office. I had a ton of questions and she was really excited about this opportunity to earn money at low cost and time. So she suggested to come to a get-together seminar with others and highly ranked people to get more information. Zoom calls weren't a thing back then, but I had to pay about $30 for this seminar. Within this meeting, I met an elderly woman who turned out to be her upline. She was really excited to meet me and to motivate me. She told me she is a stay-at-home housewife who made a ton of money from this great business. Isn't that what they all say, if we're being honest? Especially Amway reps. She goes, "I was very impressed, and as the evening went on, I heard more and more motivational speakers who sold the dream of financially secure life and great holidays and working from everywhere. After this evening, since everyone at this meeting was so happy and successful, I thought, what could go wrong? So I signed up and bought the Amway starter kit with all of the products for $200. However, I did not like the products since I did not know them, and in my opinion, they were too expensive for their use. Furthermore, I cannot imagine anyone in my life who would buy anything for this price. So I decided to buy only the starter kit and no further products, since the real money was in recruiting and not selling products. This is, by the way, what my upline told me in the beginning. I did not have a lot of money back then and thought, why spend it when I did not even have enough space in my apartment for stocking this crap that no one wants to buy anyways. Therefore, my main goal was only to recruit people under me. However, my coworker, now upline, told me I had to buy the products regularly since I had to use and show them when people are around. It was then when I got a strange feeling in my stomach. I asked her, how much am I supposed to buy when the intention or the purpose is to make money by recruiting and not spending it? She got a little upset and told me I had to invest first and put hard work in. But after a few months, 2 years tops, when I recruited enough people, I could lay back and benefit from a lot of passive income. But right now, she wanted me to spend at least $200 on products monthly to be successful. It sounded strange to me, but I gave it another go. I met her 3 times a week to practice calling people and pitching the opportunity. No one was interested. She also gave me DVDs, books, and CDs to consume and told me if I wanted to be successful successful in this business, I had to consume at least one CD or read a book. I watched one of the DVDs at home and it was the same crap as it was at the seminar I attended 3 weeks earlier. Then she told me to buy at least 1 or 2 books a month on top to be successful, because it's the only way to be trained successfully. I was skeptical again. Not only was I expected to buy products for $200 a month, but I was also expected to buy books and learning materials too every single month when I hardly broke even with my current salary and my fixed costs. This is when she told me to use my saved money, which was for my future car, by the way, to make investments into the business. She and her upline compared the business always to stocks and financial investments, where you invest money first and harvest later by doing nothing. Not long after that, there was a one-day convention 2 hours away from our hometown on Saturday. My upline and her upline were very pushy and wanted me to attend, although I wanted to spend the weekend with my parent. I got convinced to join the convention and had to pay another $150 for it, of course, with no food or drinks included, which I didn't know back then. As this was not bad enough, I didn't even have a car at the time, so my upline told me I could go with her because her parents drove her there. We left very early on this Saturday morning, and I had absolutely no motivation to go there at all, because honestly, I was upset I had to spend my weekend like this and $150 on top of it. During the ride, my upline told me that she had to go to the convention sessions earlier than me since she was a higher rank and the rank I was in could only attend in the afternoon sessions. Therefore, I had to spend the whole morning and lunchtime with her parents, 2 complete strangers. By that time, I was allowed to join the convention in the afternoon. My motivation and good feeling for this were completely gone. Not only had I spent $150 for this bullcrap show, I was expected to buy a ton of learning material there. Otherwise, the people won't see me as a serious business owner. I had no cash left for any learning materials because I spent all of my money on food and drinks before when I was waiting for my upline's parent. I did not own a credit card at this point, so thankfully I could not afford to buy any stuff. I was so annoyed about all of the costs and could not imagine spending weekends like this ever again. I mean, why would I go 200 kilometers once a month to different cities for $150 to just listen to people that tell you the same thing you can see on DVDs or CDs? I cannot understand why people were so hyped and excited. The convention was only a whole brainwash show. Even the rich and successful speakers couldn't convince me. When we came back home, I decided not to pursue this business anymore. I did not have anyone being interested in signing up anyways, so I told my upline I would quit the very next day. Since my contract for my workplace expired around this time, I did not have to see her ever again. Her upline, though, tried to call or contact me a few times, but I never responded to her. I am still upset I spent money for nothing, but thank God I got out early. My second story is much shorter. It's about a makeup MLM, but I don't recall the name since much time has passed, but it wasn't Mary Kay. My sister's best friend was in an MLM and sold makeup products. She did not recruit people though. I knew the products were expensive and I had a really good organic skincare and makeup brand for myself. So I was at no point interested in my sister's friend's product at any point. One day, my sister invited me to her house where her friend held her makeup party. I declined the invitation and told my sister I would not buy anything anyways. Unfortunately, that did not stop her from harassing me to join the party, and in the end, I agreed to come, but made it clear I do not want to buy anything. When it came to the party, I was late for an hour on purpose. It was just very sad what I saw. The only attendees there were my sister, my cousin, and my sister's 70-year-old neighbor. I listened to the product's presentation, but when my sister's friend asked for the orders, I declined again. My sister got really angry and told me I really should buy something from her since we are very few people and we must help her friend. So I was talked into buying a body butter for $90. It was the only thing I bought. My cousin and the old neighbor lady I felt so sorry for, they bought several items from the product line for at least $200 to $300. After the party, my sister's friend contacted me and asked me if I wanted to host a party in the near future with my friends. I declined again. This event took place after my Amway experience, and my despise for MLMs and their products grew even more. Ever since I read MLM horror stories on the internet, and now you and several other YouTubers provide that content, I really can't stop watching. So thank you so much for sharing your story. And I agree, it's wild how expensive these MLM products are. I feel like for most MLMs, it's very odd to find products that are cheaper. The only MLMs I can really think of where the products are a bit cheaper are the makeup MLM Pharmacy, I believe, and then Paparazzi, because they do that $5 jewelry. But if you look at any of the research that's been done on that jewelry. It's not very good jewelry in the first place, but every MLM, I feel, and this is just my opinion, have to hike up their prices because they have to pay so many people. So when you end up purchasing from an MLM rep that's in an MLM company, not only do they need to make commissions off of that, but everyone in the upline, especially for binary compensation plans, everyone in the upline then has to also get paid a cut, whether it's a 5% cut of, the products their downline buys, or whether you get things like team cycle bonus for the volume produced by your downline selling products, but you're having to get paid too. So not only does the company need to make a profit, but they have to pay a certain amount of people in the pyramid. So they have to end up making a profit somehow, which is to hike up a lot of these prices. Because if we really look at most of these MLMs, most of these products could be sold for way cheaper. So if you do research on, if I use, for example, Beachbody, if you look at Beachbody and you look at their products, but then you do research in the market and see, okay, can I actually buy pre and post workouts for cheaper than $50 and $80? Yeah, you can. So it's like there are many other products that are amazing and great and organic and all of those little things that these companies say that they are, and you can get them for way cheaper and better quality. That's just my opinion, but it is pretty wild. And I do feel bad for the person who tried to host the party and they only had a couple people. That's what ends up happening with most people. They end up joining and they just don't really have a market to sell to. Most of the people who end up really high in an MLM have had other advantages, like being in an MLM prior and having a built-in downline, or they have a social media platform already that they can sell to people. Most other people don't really have this huge market. They don't have all of these followers. They don't have all this family that could just purchase all of these products. It ends up being a lot of people that don't really have many people to sell to or to recruit into the MLM. It was also funny that, I feel like this is the last thing I could think of, but it was also funny how in Amway they stated that the main goal was just to recruit. It doesn't even matter. You don't need to buy product. But then at the same time, they expect her to spend $200 on products every month on top of buying CDs and DVDs. But in 2022, it'd probably be buying courses and things like that virtually so that you could keep up personal development and stuff like that. And that's pretty much what every MLM does. It's a constant wheel of having to constantly buy products. And then so many people who are in MLMs don't ever sit down and look at their profit. They don't sit and go down the row every month and say, okay, what did I earn this month in my MLM? What did I spend? And am I actually making a profit at the end of the month? Most people don't end up doing that. So most people don't notice the amount of money that they're actually spending in these MLMs just to keep up with the MLM and just to keep up with these active statuses and stuff like that. So it definitely is a lot of money that you end up putting into these MLMs. With that being said, let's go into the next one. So this story starts out saying, "Hi Deanna, I love your videos, and over the last few years, for some reason, I have gone down the rabbit hole into anti-MLM videos. I especially love the content from you, Isabella, and Cece. I've been thinking of sending my story in for a while now and finally decided to do so since my story is about an MLM company that I have never seen talked about on any channels, probably because it mostly targets older people. Feel free to use my name if you read this story because it's generic. When I was in maybe 3rd grade, my sister's grandma died and we drove several states away for her funeral. There were lots more of extended family there that I had never met and haven't seen since. Since the funeral was in a tiny town, pretty much everyone in the family booked a room at the same hotel. So we spent a lot of time together hanging out in the lobby. While there, one extended relative, who was probably in her 40s, set up a big table and filled it with all sorts of stamps, cardstock paper, ink, and other tools for card making and scrapbooking. My cousins and I thought it was odd, but we're too busy playing, so we didn't think much of it. My mom is a big crafter, loving cross-stitch, quilting, and more, so this quickly caught her eye, and my mom started sitting with and talking to her. I had no idea what they talked about specifically, but the entire drive home a few days later, my mom could not talk about anything other than wanting to sign up as a distributor for this Stampin' Up company that my family member was in. Yeah, I've never heard of a company called Stampin' Up. Have y'all? Because I never have. She goes, I think my dad must have been a bit wary because my mom wouldn't stop talking about it. And I have no idea if this family member was actively trying to recruit my mom or if my mom was just so excited about it that she just wanted to know how to get involved. By the time we got back back home, my dad agreed that she could join if she wanted, as long as she didn't spend more on products than she was making, saying that she could use the profits to buy more supplies to play with, but if she started losing money, she had to leave, to which she agreed. Within a month, she had her starter kit of a few stamp sets, ink colors, papers, and scissors, and was really excited to start hosting parties. I was pretty young through this, but what I do remember is that I was very glad that my mom focused on selling product and was very honest about it. She never tried to recruit anyone, even though it meant she would make more. She always was honest about the products, and if she thought they were more expensive or worse quality than you could find at Michael's or Joann's, she was honest about it. What bothered me the most about her time in this was that I didn't really understand what an MLM was at the time, and every time she had a card making party, she would invite older ladies from our church, and I would run around with the catalogs showing everyone what I love, and basically upselling for my mom. My mom left the company maybe 5 or so years ago, but was in it for over 10 years. And in that whole time, ended up getting one downline by accident just because someone found her on the website and signed up under her. She never made enough to do anything other than cover her hobby, which was fine with her. But I still feel gross thinking about trying to sell products to people knowing they were so expensive. I think the main reason I haven't heard anyone talking about Stampin' Up! Is because it is a business targeted toward more older or retired women who are interested in scrapbooking and card making, not necessarily a YouTuber's target audience, but I still wanted to tell my story to shed light on yet another company out there, and one that I think is just as bad by targeting an older audience who may not really understand what they're signing up for. Since then, I have learned what these companies are and how they prey on people to join. I see them everywhere. Even at my gym, a very well-known bodybuilding gym has a stock of Monat products with business cards in every shower of the locker room, which makes me cringe every time I see them. I've seen too many people get sucked into these businesses, and I thank you for spreading awareness and making a difference. I hope you're having an amazing day and keep doing what you're doing. So thank you so much for sharing your story. It's great that your mom, she stayed true to herself. She was honest about everything, didn't want to recruit anyone. She literally cared about a hobby that she had when it came to the cards and scrapbooking and things like that. But I think a lot of people that are, I feel like in their 20s or 30s now can look back and be like, yeah, I remember growing up, my mom having a party or hosting one, or Mary Kay being involved, or Avon, or a lot of these older MLMs where you would host parties like in your house. A lot of our parents did those. Like, I still remember my mom would always buy Mary Kay, and one day she hosted like a party at our house, and I just remember all of the Mary Kay products and the rep that came and everything like that. That was one of her friends. So I feel like a lot of us probably have that same shared experience of kind of growing up and seeing our parent do it, but social media not being a huge thing yet. So they would kind of do all of these in-house parties and things like that. So it's interesting that you kind of went through the same situation that I think a lot of us have. So comment down below if you are someone who your parent did that same thing where they were having like those in-house parties and that was like your first interaction with MLMs, because I feel like a lot of people don't know that until they learn about MLMs. Like, I didn't even know until I learned what MLMs were. I didn't know Mary Kay was one, and I didn't connect the dots of like, oh my gosh, I remember that party when I was a kid that was hosted at my house with my mom, because I just didn't know it was an MLM when I was a kid. So I feel like a lot of people definitely have that same experience for sure. Okay, so the next story is a Beachbody horror story. So it starts off saying, "Hi Deanna, my name is Lauren and I'm a new subscriber to your channel who came across your MLM Horror Story series and instantly connected to your content, as I still vividly recall my previous experience with Beachbody over 6 years ago. At the time, I was a 20-year-old university student still living at home without a cent to my name. My mother had been approached by a coworker about a new side hustle opportunity that had potential to bring in some extra money and that others were already working at successfully. Plus, it was a great opportunity to jump into a fitness challenge with an accountability group, because my mom and I had often tried different workouts and diets together. Can't help but cringe looking back at how unhealthy this was for my body image, but she brought up the opportunity to me. Within the next few days, I ended up reaching out to my mom's coworker to find out more about the challenge group and the coaching opportunity. Upon our very first conversation, I was not only signed up for a challenge pack including Shakeology, which that's about $160 plus. I was also signed up for auto ship and 21-day fix. but was also signed up as a coach before even starting the challenge group. I was confused about taking on the coaching role before completing my first program, but I, as a young and very impressionable 20-year-old, trusted my mother's coworker in her explanation that as a beginner, I would be relatable and could share my journey along with the others that I recruited. Not to mention the market for university-age customers was basically untapped, giving lots of potential for quick success. Along with signing me up, my mom's coworker, which was my new upline, had also signed up my mother, who was just joining for the discount that coaches receive. What was not relayed during any of this process was the details of the monthly charges that my mother and I would be incurring. We were informed about the cost of the challenge packs and that we could cancel our auto ship or Shakeology after the first month if we wanted. We were not made fully aware of the monthly coach fee that would continue after our first month or the PV requirements. I will attribute some of this to the failure of our upline. But after watching so many of these anti-MLM videos, I'm starting to think part of this was strategic, a ploy to get people signed up and roped in quickly, then deal with the mess afterwards. And it was a mess. After spending 3 to 4 months doing multiple rounds of 21-day fix and making a desperate attempt at using social media to recruit as a coach, I ended up with only one customer who purchased a challenge pack and canceled after a month. She had a difficult time canceling. I felt horrible when she came to me asking about resolving the problem. I had absolutely ruined my authenticity online, and to this day I've probably lost some respect of previous acquaintances and classmates. I came to a point where this was too painfully obvious to ignore, and I had no interest or money to be able to further damage my pride, reputation, and body image. I ended up quitting and ignored the follow-up messages my upline sent to try to keep me as an active customer. The process of canceling the monthly credit card charges was a whole nightmare in and of itself. Being charged multiple times for coach fees long after canceling, my dad ended up making a complaint to the Better Business Bureau of Canada as he and my mom were experiencing the same thing on their credit card. I will admit to this day that some of the Beachbody fitness programs are enjoyable, but being aware of how smoke and mirrors the whole thing is to the detriment of financially vulnerable people, I can't justify supporting any of it at all. As I've gotten older, I've realized how much Beachbody perpetrates really harmful messages about diet culture, toxic body image ideals, and unrealistic lifestyle goals. You do not need to be on a diet or structured regimen to be healthy and happy, and ups and downs are part of the human experience. Enough of this toxic positivity BS. Thank you for the content you put out. Feels cathartic to write it all down. I feel like a lot of people feel that when they're able to actually sit and write down their horror story, they really feel better after. I've gotten told that a lot of people saying that they felt really good after sitting down and writing out their whole story. But she is right. A lot of what she's talking about happens. A lot of people, they'll recruit people into Beachbody and they won't tell them about the monthly cost. And a lot of people don't talk about that monthly fee, that monthly business fee that Beachbody reps have. I think it's $15.95 in the US and then $19.95, so $20 in Canada. That's the price to keep your account active or to have that business account. And if you sign up just as a discount coach or someone who just wants the discount on products, you still have to pay that because technically you're still a rep. So that definitely happens to a lot of people because they join and nobody actually tells them. And then when you actually go to check out with Beachbody, if someone makes you a cart, which is what most Beachbody reps do, the most Beachbody reps actually make you a cart of everything that you want to purchase, normally a challenge pack, the products, the whatever product you want, the flavors and stuff. And then they will send you that. It's called a share cart. And then at the end of that, when you're checking out, it's going to be in super fine, small, itty bitty print telling you that you have monthly charges. But most people, when you know someone like a coworker, or you trust someone like a family member or a friend, you don't really look at that. You kind of just check out because you believe your friend or your coworker, you trust them. So you normally go through the checkout process and you just click checkout and you don't really read the little fine print. But that just goes to show how important just reading things like terms and conditions or reading the fine print, all of that stuff, it shows how important it is because most of these MLMs are not going to make it really big and bright and tell you you are going to be charged next month on this date for this amount. They're just not going to do that. So you end up signed up for auto ship on products, which can cost you anywhere from $80 to $120 each month. And then you also get charged for that business fee that you can't actually be uncharged for. You have to be charged for that. There's no way to get out of it unless you cancel your coach account. A lot of people definitely go through that. So thank you for sharing. Okay, so I feel like we have time for one more story. So let's do it. So this story says, "Hi Deanna, I found your content through Chelsea Suarez and have been recently binging your content. That being said, I'll just jump right into my horror story. A little backstory to make it all make sense. This all happened in 2012/2013. I was a freshman in college and a Division I athlete at the time. We did our final weighouts of the semester and I was well over 200 pounds. I'm 5'11", so it didn't really look like that. But my coach had told me in the middle of the weight room in front of my entire team that in no uncertain terms, I needed to lose weight before coming back for spring season. Talk about emotional trauma. This set me up to be the perfect emotionally vulnerable MLM victim. While I was on winter break, I finally realized just how hard the freshman 15 had hit me. So I was looking at options for diets, workout programs, etc. that would not only help me lose the weight, but also help me perform better in my sport when I came back for the spring season. This is when I saw a good family friend posting on Facebook about a new business opportunity that she had recently started, thinking, great for her. That's awesome. I liked the post and I shit you not, 10 seconds later, I had a private message from her asking if I'd be interested in a system of products that helped her lose 10 plus pounds and feel the best she ever felt. Thinking of how bad I felt when my coach told me I needed to lose weight, I was determined to get in the best shape over break. So I told her absolutely. That's when she sold me a $300, that's a lot of money, 60-day Isagenix starter kit. Being a broke college student, I could only afford the one-time products and not even the monthly subscription, thank God. After 3 weeks on the products, and as I was heading back to campus, I hadn't really noticed any difference or weight loss. Then 1 week after being back on campus, I got mono and the flu. Worst experience ever, 0 out of 10 recommend. I couldn't keep down any solid food and turned to only sustaining on the Isagenix shakes, cleanses, products, etc., which I could at least barely tolerate. I was consuming maybe 500 calories a day and back on a vigorous rowing regimen. I quickly lost about 20 pounds in maybe 2 weeks. I was sick as crap, duh. Around the same time, my Isagenix rep reached out asking me to send her some before and after pictures to see how I was progressing on the products. Clearly, there was a huge difference, and she started congratulating me on how well the products were working for me. She posted my before and after on her Instagram, and the love bombing started. She then tried to recruit me into her downline. Shocker. Thanks, Jeebus. That I had no money and had to decline. Every few months, she would reach out and ask if I wanted more products, if I was interested in selling, etc., and I always said no. Eventually, she got the hint and stopped, but she's now one of the top 10 in the company. Looking back, it just makes me wonder if she was able to recruit more people off of my drastic before and after pictures on the promise that they would get the same results. I often think of how many other people fell victim to the scam based on the hope that they saw in my photos, and I feel awful that she manipulated customers and used my photos for her benefit. Nonetheless, thank you for everything you do and keep fighting the good fight. So thank you so much for sharing that. I'm so sorry that that happened to you. Like getting the flu and mono all at the same time must have been horrible. With that being said, yeah, they are taught, like any MLM that's like these fitness MLMs are definitely taught to get before and afters and to share them. And they're also taught to respond to all new likes and comments. So if you like a photo, they may reach out to you and try and recruit you. So that's kind of what happened to her, or not kind of, that is what happened to her, is she just liked someone's photo to be supportive and then ended up, spending the $300 and joining Isagenix. So it's interesting how in every company, it's all the same. Like every fitness MLM does that. Every MLM teaches to respond to likes and comments and reach outs and all of that. So everyone's in the end, all MLMs do the same thing and have the same way of recruiting, especially these fitness MLMs. And they definitely utilize people's before and afters, even if the before and after wasn't made by just the products alone, but because this individual was sick, that's how she ended up losing so much weight because she couldn't keep any food down. They're still going to end up using that before and after to promote their MLM because they're pretty much taught to do that. It's definitely shitty because I feel like most of the fitness MLM spread a lot of toxic diet culture, and it's really crappy to see. But I'm happy that you got out, didn't spend any more money after that, and are able to now share your story with people so that they could hear about it. So with that being said, I have missed y'all, but I need to go to work and I'm yawning again and I drank all my coffee. So I better get liven up because I have a whole 8-hour shift that I have to do and I don't get off until really late at night. So with that being said, don't forget to leave a like and a comment and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Also, if you would like to send your MLM horror story for me to read in the next MLM horror story that I do, I will leave my email down below for that. And with that being said, I will see you guys in Monday's video. At this, for any learning materials, because I spent my, rewind. Oh, fuck. I keep fucking yawning. I've already had coffee, damn it. Ugh, okay. What bothers me the most, shit, where was I? A girl is thirsty. I often think of how many other people fell victim to the scam based on how they saw it. Oh my gosh, I'm tongue twisted.